Mindy, I gather you drew on your personal experiences, and as I was watching this, I was thinking, did she have to like tone it down, tone down the anger, or did she like amp it up to go with the comedy?
Did I have to tone down the anger? Wow, that's a great question. Um, it's interesting. I don't think of the movie as an angry
No,
movie or
from
like a
your personal
polemical movie. D-
experiences, like to
Um,
take what you went through and then to
well,
put it on the screen.
I'm always so careful because when I started at the office, even though the situation was identical, I was the only woman and the only minority. The men there were much more welcoming than the characters in this film were. I feel like I should say that.
Got it.
And but the terror I felt was very real, and that is the terror that the Molly character had for sure. I mean, I was writing something that I there was obviously it was based on my own experience, but I wanted to tell a story that was a workplace story that was really just true to how I felt and really authentic and really funny to the experiences that I felt for people um, that I work with, young women that I've hired on my shows, and hearing their stories and talking to Nisha obviously. But that's sort of where it came from.
And so, Nisha, what made you, besides Mindy, want to do this? What was there in the story, in just the experience of what everybody does at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night? Turn on the television and watch.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it was very funny. And Mindy wrote a really funny script that really took on a lot of themes and issues that I'm super passionate about and have been since I first started in indie film. And to me, to be able to talk about feminism and diversity and inclusion, sexism, ageism, all these things under the guise of comedy, and really making sure you were sort of first and foremost funny, and then you get to talk about themes that are very important to you. That's sort of the winning combination for any movie.
And I think people listen better when they're laughing. And Reid, I read something that you told Variety that you're surprised at how well comedy can inspire change. Is that because it like goes under the radar, and when you talk sexism and feminism, people aren't looking for that, they're looking for the laugh?
I think that's exactly right. I think when you're watching a comedy, you're there to sort of let go. You're there, even as an audience member, you're very vulnerable because you want to laugh, you want to have a good time. Um, and very often, you don't think about it. You don't say, I'm going to the theater to see a comedy because I want to learn something. You're saying, I want to go be entertained. And somehow, because you're in this vulnerable state, the message gets in there somehow, sometimes even subconsciously, and you walk away thinking about it in a different way. And maybe it doesn't seem so heavy the way you might see it in a drama or a documentary. You come away thinking, wow, this is a problem. First of all, it's a problem, but maybe, it's the power of the happy ending. Sometimes the happy ending can inspire you to actually put some effort forth into making some change. And I love that comedy, the best kinds of comedy, which I'm very proud to be part of one, can do that, can actually really inspire some change.
So that must have made it a much easier sell than saying, this is going to be a movie about feminism and sexism.
Oh
And
man, that's the hardest thing about talking about this film is that when you love comedy and have grown up watching Mike Nichols movies, James L. Brooks movies about, those are movies I love about the workplace, about people who are adults, who have their shit together, who are funny, come into rooms well dressed with big ambitions, and but because a lot of times, I don't see people necessarily that look like me represented in those movies I love. Just by my identity, the movie's political. It's like a movie which stars a woman that's over 55 years old as the female lead, and me. It seems like it's going to be this polemical about how much we hate white men, but it isn't. And I wasn't interested in writing a movie where my character is perfect, and the guys in the room
and people
were
wouldn't have
not.
been interested in seeing
And
it
I don't think
either.
they would have been interested in seeing it either. And it was really important to me in writing it that Reid's character and Paul Walter Hauser's character and everyone has a redemptive story, and Max Casella, who I think is so great in the movie, becomes my ally because so many of my allies in the business have also been white men who've given me opportunities. So. Yeah, it's been hard to talk about the movie and when the themes of it without making it seem like it's like a lecture that you're going to go see a lecture for 90 minutes.
Was Emma Thompson the person you had in mind when you wrote this role?
I wrote this for Emma, and if she hadn't done it, it just wouldn't have been made.
Really?
Yeah, pretty stupid thing to do. But I wrote it for her. In watching it, I don't think that there's another actor I can picture doing it. she's someone who I saw Much Ado About Nothing when I was 12 years old in theaters, and I loved it so much that I went 2 weekends in a row and made my mom go see it. And I thought, I didn't really know anything about Shakespeare at that age. And I thought, this is so funny, and she's so beautiful and so good in this movie. And I just followed her career. And then, when she won an Oscar for writing Sense and Sensibility, and then also I think was it Howard's End or Remains of the Day for acting. I thought, I didn't even know you could do that, Howard's End, and I didn't even know you could do that. And she's so good at so many things that I almost feel like comedy was something almost like a back burner for her. And I thought, this role, she's such amazing comic timing. And when we shoot a movie in 25 days, which we did,
25 days.
we shot this movie in 25 days. It's an independent feature that Nisha somehow made not look like one. You just need someone, yeah.
Wow.
You
Really, I mean, the production value is everything.
Thank you.
It was really incredible. And Emma, you can't do that kind of schedule for someone who doesn't understand this character in her bones.
Yeah.
So I just sent it to her.
That was one of our joys too, though, was to reintroduce Emma as a comedic force, because she did start in comedy, and she is, the footage you see in the movie of her doing stand-up is her at 23 doing stand-up. She started, yeah, we did not like age her down or Benjamin Button that footage. It is just her. And
Nor did we have the money to do
Yeah,
that.
we did not.
We should also add.
So you just used an app, right?
Yeah, well, she did, that college, she had a college improv troupe called Footlights, and I think it was just fun, as both of us are always such fans of her comedy, that it was fun to show audiences and remind them, like, look how funny she is, look what this woman can do, and unleash her comedic prowess.
Emma was really fun on set, because Emma is at the point in her career now where, like, when you work with like younger actors, they really want to make sure that they make a good impression, and they don't. You're like, oh, how was that project? And no one says anything about anything. Emma is great because she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, she talks about every movie experience, every director, every actor, every ex-husband. Like, she tells you everything, and it is so good. Like, and that really fuels you. Like, when you're doing an indie movie and it's New York City and it's 30 degrees out and we're in a room with no heat. Like, she's so different from this character, but has the magnetism that the character has, and it was really just like burned every day and kept us going.
So, Nisha, you didn't have to encourage them so much as rein them in. It sounds like it was Howard Hawks dialogue the whole way through.
Yeah, Mindy, I mean, we really stuck to Mindy's script. It was very well written, and we didn't want to do, I think so many times right now, comedies are sort of seen as a lesser art form, and it wasn't always that way. It was, I love Cukor films. I loved, Mike Nichols, obviously, Brooks. We just wanted to sort of pay homage to those movies. Working Girl was something we talked about a lot, about a young woman coming to New York, wanting desperately to be a part of something that she had no way in. And it was, hey, what if we brought back that? Let's really pay attention to the cinematography, the lighting. We don't have the schedule or the time to do sort of everybody improv and do whatever you want, and I'll just sort of hose it all down and we'll figure it out in the editing room. We had to really have composed shots and very thoughtful cinematography, because there was no time, really. We couldn't just give everybody a close-up and do it later. We had to really think about the scenes and how they were written, how they were shaped, what the interpretation was. It was really that. And then, because we had this high talent, of caliber of talent, and an amazing comedy writer on set all the time in the character Molly, then we could capture that. Then we could be a little loose and say, okay, let's do an improv run. Let's see what amazing idea Mindy has now, and let's change things. So a lot of it is the original script. Some things were things she came up with on the set. It's really a fun mixture.
What do you want people to take out of the theater with them, besides their empty popcorn things?
A couple of things. I just want people to think, like, what a funny movie. What a funny movie. That feels like people that I know, that I want to be like. And for young people, I want it to make them want to go to New York, the way that movies like Working Girl made me want to move to New York City. And also how quickly, there's a shot, it's not part of the writing, so I can't believe I'm complimenting it, but there is a part at the end of the movie where we go around the writer's room and it looks different, and it was only a year. And it was very moving to me, that shot. And I think that would be great as an employer. I would love if people thought that, not just for Hollywood, because we're really doing our part. I really do think we are, but around the world, of like, oh, that does look like a really great environment, and look at how quickly they were able to change how the room looked.
Yeah, I mean, we all have similar goals. Also, we wanted to inspire a young generation of women to go into late night comedy writing, because it is still incredibly male dominated. And when we were writing the script, Mindy, we were not when we were writing the script. I'm so sorry. When we were researching for the directing of the script and the production, we would work all day, and then we'd go at night. Me and the designer and the DP and the AD, we'd go to one of the late night shows there. Jimmy Fallon opened his room to us. Colbert did. Seth Meyers, and to see that there were these young women who were sort of just about to break into the inner circle, it just felt like, oh, there is a change coming, and this is a movie that we just hope inspires everybody to pursue their dreams, no matter how far they seem from the reality of what your life is.
Won't you please thank the panel?